YouTube family. Welcome to On the Cusp with Daphne, a place where inspiration meets evolution. Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that are likely to get you fired. 5 things that are likely to get you sacked, get you on the chopping board as a healthcare professional. Stay tuned to the channel as we go through these 5 very important things that are going to help you to avoid the sack. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, my name is Daphne. I'm based in London. I bring you insights into job opportunities in the UK, support thereof, immigration-related matters, and occasionally health, wellness, and well-being related matters. And to my returning subscribers, a warm welcome to you too. Thank you so much for the support. And if it's your first time here, please don't leave this channel without subscribing. Your support is much needed and highly appreciated. Remember to like the video as well. Turning on your notifications bell will make you aware of the videos I post in future, so please do so. Whilst this channel is so big on connecting you to job opportunities in the UK, equally, it's very important to bring to your attention the flip side of the coin, which is what we're going to be looking at today. Things that are likely to get you fired as a healthcare professional in the UK, or things that are likely to get you on the chopping board or get you sacked. Stay tuned to the channel as we go through these 5 things that are so crucial to you keeping your job once you've found it. You've worked so hard to get the job. The last thing you need is to put yourself in the firing line. Stay tuned to the channel as we go through these 5 key points that are going to help you retain your job in the UK as a healthcare professional. I want to imagine and believe that we can all agree that the employer's goals, once they have recruited and employed staff, the main goal is to retain the staff. Staff retention is a big thing in any organization, given how expensive it is, number one, to recruit, to train, to help the staff to settle in their respective roles. So an employer has that goal and ambition, whilst we, the employees, on the other hand, have a goal to keep the job, or at least if you do leave, you want to leave on a clean note. Given this balance that we both want to strike as employers and employees, there are certain offences that are simply dismissible offences, no matter how much your employer would like to retain you, or no matter how much you as an employee want to keep your job. Some offences are simply dismissible offences. Let's go through them and have a look and see what are they likely to be. So these we're going to cover in no particular order. But as a healthcare worker, you are being tasked with a duty to provide care for a vulnerable group of people. So patient abuse or poor professional conduct is amongst the top 5 dismissible offences, or at least the top offences that most healthcare professionals get dismissed for. Amongst many things that are deemed to be abuse could be things such as belittling your patient, or not acknowledging their concerns, or yelling at them, or ignoring their requests. There's so many forms of abuse. That's just a video for another day altogether. This is not just limited to your patients. It could well be the family members of the patients, because our patients do not exist in silos, or they don't exist in isolation. They are members of the larger society. So there will be the next of kin, other professionals that are involved in their care, family, next of kin. So it could well be what is thought to be abuse of the next of kin. So be very vigilant in your everyday conduct and be mindful of the things you do, the things you say, or even the things you don't do, as well as the things you don't say. They could equally constitute what is deemed to be abuse. The second point speaks to the era we live in, the use of social media, the things you do or say on social media. What you post can equally cost you your job. So be very careful of the things you say on social media, the things you do on social media, because you work for an organization that has got its own values as well as its own conduct and want to be associated with people in that light. Whilst I, in a recent video, told you about the importance of being active on social media on professional platforms such as LinkedIn, equally, in the same breath, I have to warn you about the dangers of social media. What you say and post on social media can very easily cost you your job. Sometimes people are not even aware of these violations. You might just post about your patient and find that you've actually breached data protection. Or sometimes you didn't even talk about the patient, you talked about the organization that you work for. That can easily get you the sack. So familiarize yourself with how you should be conducting yourself on social media to have a personal life that is separate from your work and that does not threaten your job, nor threaten the organization you work for, as well as the people you work with. Social media, be on the lookout for that one. Let's all learn the etiquette around the use of social media. The next thing that's likely to get you fired is the abuse of prescribed or non-prescribed medications. According to this article I've linked below, about 20% of healthcare professionals suffer from one addiction or the other, be it alcohol abuse or drug abuse. This is about 1 in 5 healthcare professionals that is dealing with a form of addiction or another. Needless to say, the industry in itself can be very stressful and not everyone has enough support system nor coping mechanisms. So be sure to seek help early and identify support systems early before this costs you your job. Bearing in mind that when it boils down to it, illegal drugs are illegal drugs. I mean, that's just where it ends. I mean, that's the first thing to remember. Illegal will be illegal in any other terms of reference. The second thing is that going to work under the influence of any of these substances mentioned will not only compromise your performance on duty, but it will also compromise the safety of those under your care. And lastly, especially as a nurse or as a doctor, you will be working in an environment where you have access to some of these drugs or to similar drugs. So that also puts you in a very vulnerable position where you are likely to slip back or default. Hence, it's so important to seek help early before it lands you in being fired and all sorts of implications. Another reason that may see you go through the revolving doors as soon as you came through them is sharing your spiritual beliefs and practices with the ones in your care or their families. For example, things such as praying for your patients or praying with them, especially in the UK, is deemed to be a dismissible offense. A few nurses have been dismissed for this offense. The video I have attached goes into greater detail regarding one of the examples. It's not the only case. There are several that have made it to the news. Some don't even make it to the news, but there are similar cases where nurses have shared their spiritual beliefs in the bid to comfort and help their patients and their loved ones. Whilst prayer may be so comforting and reassuring and helping the patients to adjust to a life situation or an illness or a recent diagnosis, it's not seen in that light by all. So have a look at the video I've linked at the top below, as well as an end screen to this video as to how can that get you fired and what can you do to stay safe. Your views are very welcome in this regard. I'd like to know what your views are, especially on this point. What is your standpoint? What would you do if a patient asked to pray with you or for you to pray for them? Let me know. And last but not least is going to have to be the overall lack of professional conduct. It sounds like such a broad term, right? But it encompasses so many things. The things we do within our working environment, as well as outside the company we keep, the places we go to, our conduct when we are not at work. It also involves our service users, their relatives. So it's a very broad term overall that can even make a video on its own. But just consider for yourself and familiarize yourself with the normal conduct, professional conduct, the code of conduct for your respective job and profession, and see what falls within that ambit and adhere to what is deemed to be professional. It is all very relative, but also there's such a fine line one can cross between remaining professional as well as getting the job. So hopefully these 5 tips you're going to find useful and applicable to our everyday lives. Let me know what else you would add to this list. Tell me in the description box below and let me know what else you would consider to be a dismissible offense or that you think or know to be a dismissible offense as far as retaining one's job is concerned. I look forward to our meaningful engagements. Remain on the cusp with Daphne, a place where inspiration meets evolution. Hoping you've remembered to subscribe, to like, as well as to share this video. Remember to turn on your notifications bell so you can be notified when I post a video in future. Thanking you for remaining on the cusp with Daphne. See you on the next one.
Want you do it like you.